Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to be reacting to the 99 problems with AEW. To be honest, in my opinion, I enjoy AEW. People's gonna hate it either way. Same with every promotion. Everyone's gonna hate wrestling in general, to be honest. If you guys haven't yet, please like, subscribe, comment. Just gonna
1. Signing Edge to AEW was not a great decision because his presence does very little to sell tickets or boost the ratings. 2. Signing Ric Flair to AEW in a multi-year deal doesn't make any
This one made no sense, but the only reason why is because Sting is hated. The only reason
sense considering he's almost 75 years old and brings very little value to.
For context, I'm going to pause it. So if you really interested in, if you're not interested in videos that pause it, just please go watch the actual video.
To the product. It also doesn't help that he has a very shady past. 3. Tony Khan chastised Vince McMahon for being a sexual abuser, but then signs Ric Flair, who also has been outed as a sexual abuser, to AEW. This is selective morality. 4. Tony Khan banned Hulk Hogan from AEW.
Allowing Sabu on TV, that did not affect really anything. He was on TV, what, twice?
Due to his racist past, but then allows Sabu to be on AEW TV, even though he has said some very racist things. 5. Allowing Paul White to be a physical threat on AEW doesn't make sense because the man can barely move anymore. He looks like he's permanently doing the stanky leg. 6. Signing Jeff Hardy to AEW.
That was not a fail. That was not a fail. Shut up.
AEW was not the greatest move. He has proved to be more of a liability through his DUI arrest, and he doesn't move the needle like how he used to. 7. Over-relying on older stars is a common thing in AEW.
They have an entire roster of young talent. You're on cracks there.
As there's a constant
You're naming a total of 8 wrestlers. I'm not citing on anyone's side. I'm just saying. You have a billion other young talent on that roster. You choose to roast them on maybe 8 wrestlers, while WWE still has Randy Orton, CM Punk, let's see who else is on the rest. Technically John Cena, The Undertaker at WrestleMania, The Rock. Who else is on this list? The list can go on and on.
An emphasis on stars that are over 50 years old. 8. Letting CM Punk go was a big mistake as ratings are now low and AEW is struggling to sell tickets. 9. AEW is very disorganized, as seen with them not having a ride ready for their biggest star CM Punk for All In London, forcing him to find his way to the stadium in a foreign country. 10. Tony Khan is afraid to hand his big stars losses, so he books.
Their booking definitely needs help, I'm not gonna care.
His big stars conservatively, which is a problem. 11. Tony Khan's rants on Twitter are quite honestly embarrassing.
Tony Chan on Twitter, I'm just gonna say this. His Twitter is entertaining. Like, honestly, if you hate his Twitter, he's just, like, yes, it's not professional, but it's entertaining.
And he seems more like a petulant child crying on the internet because he doesn't get his way. 12. Fellow YouTuber and AEW fan Tranquilo Club revealed that Tony Khan reached out to him to get booking advice. This is the problem with Tony Khan. 13. Tony Khan's
That doesn't make any sense.
huge announcements are getting out of hand. Some of the stuff that he announces can just be tweeted out. 14. Tony Khan can't get a hold of his talent. This is seen with the many backstage fights in AEW. 15. Tony Khan is too nice and wants to be one of the boys so bad. This results in people taking advantage of him.
Tony Khan being too nice.
16. AEW lied about the All-In Wembley attendance. They said that their attendance was over 80,000, while the English government said that their attendance was around 72,000. Very WWE move. 17. 3 shows is way.
I wonder if they're including staff. Way too many shows. You have WWE that has Speed, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Are you done yet? Okay, you have W, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Okay, 3 matches, same as Ring of Honor. If they're counting Ring of Honor, that's 4 in AEW. AEW has Collision, Dynamite, and Rampage. They used to have 5 if you included Dark. So W has the same amount of shows, but just putting it out there. I'm not being a wrestling stand at any standpoint. I'm just being honest.
Too many shows. Everything besides Dynamite doesn't feel like necessary viewing, besides Collision once in a while. 18. AEW's crowds are getting emptier by the show. 19. On top of the empty crowds, the crowds are much quieter.
You just mentioned the same thing 2 times. Pretty much talking about crowds twice.
In comparison to the AEW between 2019 and 2021. 20. AEW tours in the same places constantly and it wears off the novelty of AEW in these cities. 21. AEW's ticket prices are quite high considering their product isn't that hot.
Homie, their ticket prices wasn't that whack. I'm just putting that out there. I went to front row at Dynamite in, October? Like September, October. One front row ticket was $500. Just putting it out there. And I literally said on the barricade. Well, meanwhile at W, you are having $2,000 for a front row seat. Just putting it out there. Not including your pay-per-view prices. They cost $10K for some sort of ticket, by the way.
Hot. They've reduced their prices, but it's still a problem. 22. AEW ratings have been suffering in 2023.
Here we go about the
and it's just
ratings
getting
again.
worse. 23. When AEW and
I would just like to say, homie, you listen to too much Eric Bischoff.
NXT went head-to-head in October of 2023, NXT beat AEW in the ratings. Granted, NXT had a very stacked card with top stars, it's still embarrassing for AEW. 24. AEW haven't hit 1 million viewers on Dynamite since February of 2023, and it doesn't look like that will change for a while. 25. Battle of the...
When's the last time NXT hit 1 mil? I'm curious.
Bout episodes are a flop. Title changes rarely ever happen and it tanks in the ratings. 26. AEW are moving to monthly pay-per-views, which isn't a bad thing, but $50 a month for a pay-per-view is outrageous, considering WWE does the same but for $10 a month. 27. AEW
This not right.
still don't have a streaming service like the WWE network, even though Tony Khan has promised it for years. 28. Storylines in AEW are lacking and not good enough. 29. Booking has no continuity. Stars get a push, then
You have literally mentioned booking twice, just like to put that out there, and crowds 3 times. This is going to be an entertaining video base.
for weeks on
Hold up and buckle up.
end, thus diminishing their momentum. 30. Tony Khan booked Kenny Omega vs MJF on 3 days notice on free TV in front of 3,500 fans and 400.
NXT did the same thing. NXT straight up put Rollins against Breaker just to pop ratings. You're welcome.
70,000 viewers on TV.
And the breaks
AEW
too.
could have made much more money from this match, but Tony Khan was booking just to pop a rating. 31. The booking of the women's division has been a problem in AEW since
That's
day
not
one, and it's
wrong.
basically the same to this day.
The women's division in AEW, I almost said NXT, is very dull. The longest match just took place at Double or Nothing between Mercedes Moon and Willow at 18 minutes and some odd seconds. Yeah, they definitely need longer matches.
32. The women of AEW don't have enough TV time to tell stories or cut promos, and this affects the division negatively. 33. The women's division has
Yeah, but they're... Oh, yeah.
so much drama backstage. There's so much bullying and politicking, and that is detrimental to the division. 34. Tony Khan is afraid to lean into real life. Vince McMahon would have taken full advantage of the All-In fight with Jack Perry and CM Punk and would have probably played the footage of the fight on TV and turned it into a storyline. But instead, Tony Khan just fired his biggest star, CM Punk. 35. There's too much of a presence of Ring of Honor on AEW TV, considering that a large majority of the
Yeah, that's not right.
AEW fanbase doesn't
I'm
watch
not even
ROH.
defending that.
36. The whole interim champion thing is a mess.
Yes.
37. The
Yes.
title has been a mess. Before Christian Cage got the title had diminished in significance. 38. Getting rid of the ranking system was a mistake because it progressed storylines and
The ranking system's back. I'm happy, just throwing it out there.
made booking sense. 39. Tony Khan could benefit from having a creative team or someone qualified to help him with creative in order to add good
When you write, your tone
I get
influences
an
how
ad.
readers respond. With Grammarly, just highlight your text and type how you want.
storylines to matches. 40. AEW doesn't hold production meetings in fear of things leaking before the show, even though this is a prerequisite to put on a good TV show. And that's why there's so many production issues with AEW on TV when watching live. 41. Wrestling is supposed to be a circus. There's not enough freaks and too many guys in top positions of AEW that look like regular people. 42. There's too many dream matches in AEW and not enough
Too many dream matches. I've heard of it all now. Heard of it all.
story-driven matches. 43. There's a massive focus on putting on good wrestling matches, which is fair, but it's not the key to growing an audience. 44. There's a lot of fast food wrestling in AEW, filled with insane spots designed to give the viewers a dopamine rush, but is ultimately forgettable. Filet mignon wrestling
This
is what is
man is an
needed.
Eric Bischoff stand if I've ever heard one. Oh my goodness. Or is it Dave Meltzer's fan? 100%. He hates high-flying wrestling. He hates Lucha Libre. Talks about fans. Guaranteed he's been watching Eric Bischoff or he's reading a list off one of their
45.
podcasts.
There's no performance center in AEW, and fans can tell. There's way too many botches in AEW. 46. The over-reliance on hardcore gimmick matches is a massive.
So, it's called a hardcore match for a reason, bud. It's not called a toddler. It's not called a toddler death match. Like, homie, let's be real here. If you want a hardcore match, you're going to have to bleed. Do not watch the Attitude Era.
Problem in AEW, and quite frankly, there's just too much blood. 47. John Moxley bleeds way too much. Almost every single match he wrestles in, he bleeds. This wears off the
wrong.
novelty and shock factor of blood. 48. AEW matches are too unsafe. You have wrestlers flip-flop flying and almost dying just to get a pop from the fans, which is unsustainable in the long run. 49. Due to this dangerous way of wrestling, there have been way too many injuries in AEW, which hurts the product. 50. The concussion protocol is seriously lacking. You know it's bad when one of your top stars, John Moxley, is calling out the concussion protocol in AEW. 51. Bryan Danielson is a major asset in AEW, but he's fragile due to his injury-laden past. AEW have allowed him to do whatever he wants, and that's why he's had so many injuries in AEW. 52. AEW allowed Bryan Danielson to wrestle even though he had 2 fractured orbital bones, which is
WWE did this. They let Rollins wrestle for so many months of the world title with an injured back. So, we can't talk there about it over there.
unacceptable. 53. Darby Allin takes insane bumps, which is awesome and all, but this sort
Darby Allin, okay. Just like throw this out there. Jeff Hardy, Darby Allin.
of recklessness is what could land him in a wheelchair by the time
Back
he's
when Jeff was into it, he was taking all of these types of bumps, if not more. Let's be honest.
AEW needs to protect wrestlers from themselves. 54. Even though Darby Allin is injured, he's still allowed to do death-defying stunts elsewhere, and this could seriously hurt him, which could be bad for AEW. 55. AEW even allowed Darby Allin to get a face
You're judging a man by his tattoos. You are guaranteed a Hulk Hogan fan if I've ever heard. If we're judging Darby by his face tattoo, let's talk about Cody's neck tattoo. Just being real, too.
face tattoo. While this is sick on the surface, it ruins all chances for him to become a megastar in AEW. You can't have someone be the biggest star and marketer of your product with a face tattoo. Advertisers won't allow this.
Not so one person complained about his face tattoo ever.
56. MJF used to wrestle once or twice
Overexposing MJF. MJF was a world champion.
a month, but nowadays in AEW, he wrestles 4 to 5 times a month. This overexposes him and wears the special aura of MJF away. 57. Allowing MJF to hype up his contract ending and him potentially going to WWE is a bad look. It makes AEW look like the little leagues. 58. It's not only MJF who buries a
That's not
AEW publicly, but other wrestlers do this too, and it just makes
But
AEW
Andrade
look really
left,
bad.
so,
59. Letting Cody Rhodes go was a big mistake as it left a massive hole in AEW. When Cody Rhodes left, it was the beginning of the end for AEW. 60. Letting Jade Cargill go was a big mistake, seeing how she's been
Jade
treated
was not
like
a big loss. I'm gonna be honest. Yes. She was a loss, but again, you have wrestlers that did way more in that company than Jade. Jade only really had jabber matches. To be honest, she had 3 total matches that I would call realistically non-jabber matches. That's against Anna Joe, Tay Cody, Tim LA, Scabbaloo. I don't think there's another match that's not a jabber match that showed. There may be more. I just can't think.
superstar in WWE.
Chris Styler. I watched the last match live at Rampage. The last match ever.
Tony Khan should have thrown whatever amount of money she wanted so that she could stay. 61. Not signing Dragon Lee was unfortunate, but it highlights the problem of AEW giving one-off appearances to talent just to put them on WWE's radar so that they can sign them. The same thing happened with Cora Jade. 62. It's been reported that the AEW Fight Forever video game took about $40 million to develop.
Game definitely
Everyone played the game for a few weeks and then dropped it because of its issues. It's now on sale for almost half the price it was at the launch date. It looks like the game is a flop and is not profitable. 63. The whole WWE Diehards vs AEW Diehards thing is kind of cringe on both sides, but the problem with AEW
It's
Diehards...
not just AEW, I'm being honest. It's just all professional wrestling fans. Well, not all of them. These things can say is there's certain toxic fans in every fan base. You can have a fan base without having the toxic fan base of each company thinking they're the best. Or team, company, whatever. Example, the Lakers, any baseball, football, basketball team, they all have certain fans that are toxic.
Is that the second...
That's just the point of sports. That's just one thing about sports. Even though it's sports entertainment.
Can you criticize the product? It's like you've attacked them personally. I know because I used to be like this until I snapped out of it. 64. The New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW working relationship is one-sided. New Japan gets most of the benefit.
Just like to throw it out there, it's not one-sided. If you watch the press conference, Tony Chan talked about Hiroshi Takahashi. I don't know why I said over, but we're talking about doing an AEW New Japan joint show in Japan. I don't know what venue. It's somewhere in Japan. It's like Forbidden Door, but in Japan. At some point, either this year or next year.
Benefits of their working relationship. 65. Adding the Ring of Honor belts, 19 different wrestlers could have a belt on them at any
Not wrong.
given time in AEW, and that's not even
The
considering all
tree
the New
is
Japan
taking
belts and the
scrap.
indie belts that wrestlers are
yeah.
allowed to have on TV. 66. The tag team division used to be stacked, but now there's just a mid tag team division and a mid trio.
I'm saying it's... What do you expect? You have... Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. You have Penta and Phoenix. 2 of the most talented luchadors to ever grace AAA. That sounds stupid, but since I've watched AAA, I'll put it that way. You have... Let's see, we have Kip Sabian, a dude who should get pushed but doesn't get pushed. Butch and the Blade, I absolutely hate them. Dark Order, they should definitely get treat. Yeah, they should get a push. We have the Alkaline, who just lost the tag team titles. We have Arya Daivari and the... Don't know who else is in that group. That's Tony Nese and someone else. I cannot remember his name. Powerhouse Knobs, Aaron Sele, and Cutie Marshall. Cutie Marshall is no longer with AEW. I don't know which one was on the front of that, but I'm just saying it isn't that bad. Too many factions, W has that problem more than AEW, I'm just being honest. You have, like, Karrion Kross and the authors of Pain, Scarlet, and whatever his face is that I can't remember his name. Who else is in there? The Bloodline, that's 2. Who is a faction in WWE that I'm just blanking right now? Glaskus. I don't know. There's probably 4 million more. Thin Premium, when that was a thing, I guess it's 4. There's probably one more. I'm just being stupid.
Days of AEW and persists to this day.
I sound like an
There's just
AEW
too many
fanboy, but
factions
I'm
in
really
AEW.
not.
68. AEW's booking
I'm just saying both of them have that problem. Pointless, I'm being honest. He was cool, but like, he has no mic skills. He was dope, like, when he was with MJF, right? After MJF, and right after he left MJF and won the TNT title, he was amazing. And then, whenever he joined Adam Cole, he's flopped.
of Wardlow has been questionable to say the least.
Yes, but
he could have been a big star, but his momentum has been thwarted way too many times. 69. Keith Lee used to be a big star in WWE, but now he's just
Keith is injured. Yeah. Keith is injured, so he can't really get mishandled when he's not even on here. Yeah. He also won the tag team title, so he isn't that much mishandled.
just another guy in AEW. 70. Miro could have been a big star in AEW, especially with his Redeemer gimmick, but all the momentum with him has been
Not wrong, but again, won a Medicare title. That could have done way more than yes. Miro could have been a world champion. Yes. He deserves a world title. Yes.
lost due to poor booking. 71. Malachi Black could have also been a big star fighting for the TNT title and the world title, but
I've been saying this for however how long Malachi has been with AEW. Yes, make him world champion.
he's been stuck in trios action for a while, and this is a problem. 72. Buddy Matthews
Yeah, that's not wrong. He could always leave and go back with Red and the Judgment Day. Yeah, dumb right in the mouth.
is a killer, but he hasn't reached his potential in AEW due to him being stuck in House of Black.
Again,
He was
he's
better in
happy.
WWE. 73.
Edward.
Athena is doing some of the best work of her career in Ring of Honor, but she should be on the
Athena's on. Well, I'm gonna be honest with Athena. Fans have to have a reason to watch Ring of Honor, and Athena's that reason. She's like a 500 dab women's champion in Ring of Honor. She's a great heel, one of my
biggest stage
favorite
of
heels
Dynamite
in
to showcase their
AEW.
talents. 74. Andrade has been mishandled
Yes.
in AEW. He could have been one of the biggest Latino stars in wrestling, but poor booking
Yep.
has prevented this. 75. Action Andretti scored a big singles win over Chris Jericho, but AEW haven't followed up on him, and now he's just another guy. 76. Only bringing out Abaddon to wrestle on Dynamite once per year around Halloween is ridiculous. Either fire her or
Payments on Ring of Honor.
feature her more. 77. Besides MJF, the rest of the 4 pillars are playing mainly side.
Here we go. Someone who's again not done research. You have Darby. Had an amazing match, just a double or nothing. Sammy, who's currently suspended for to resign soon. Jungle Boy, who got lit on freaking fire at double or nothing by Darby. MJF, who just returned, by the way. All of which that are pretty much been in high profile feuds, if not, world champion or whatever.
Piece roles. It seems like the 4 pillars are there to hold up all the talent. 78.
I'm just gonna be honest, I sound like I can, yes I know, but I'm, to be honest, just trying to prove that some of these guys' takes are absolutely dogwood.
Watching anything to do with Matt Hardy is quite honestly painful. Get him off our TV screens. 79. Jeff
At the beginning, no. At the end, yes.
Jarrett should not be featured on AEW as much as he is. He's a relic of the past that should stay in the past. 80.
So you expect a old man to wrestle weekly and wrestle like up to 3 matches a week. Sabita wrestling too much. Sabita's freaking retiring in like 4 years. He wants to wrestle as much as he can before retirement, but again, you really do not read anything.
Yuri Shibata almost died in the ring a few years ago. There's a reason why New
Sabita's
Japan
like
don't allow him
40.
to wrestle for them. Something catastrophic
Like 40, if not 50. He's like 40
It happened to him at any time, but AEW allows him to do whatever he wants. 81. Tony Khan is too afraid to fire wrestlers as he lets their contracts run out. He should be more
I just got paid $60,000 for my car crash from using this app on my phone. And I don't know if you could see.
ruthless in these matters. 82. Instead of firing their biggest star and draw CM Punk, AEW should have instead fired Jack Perry for the All-In London Brawl. AEW is a business at the end of the day, and Jack Perry doesn't draw like Punk. 83. AEW let Stu Grayson go, just to rehire him a few months later,
Grayson's
and then let him
situation's
sit at
just
home and
confusing.
suck money from
This is just confusing. Which Stu Grayson?
AEW. This is the problem. 84. Wrestlers are allowed to take too much time off from AEW, and this ultimately hurts the product. 85. Referees in AEW are almost non-existent. They are meant to enforce the rules, but they just let the wrestlers do whatever they want almost all the time. 86. Aubrey Edwards clearly has main character syndrome.
My goodness. This man has no persona. I
wants to
find
be-
Aubrey Edwards funny, to be
The
honest.
center of attention, so bad and get herself over, which is not what a referee is supposed to do. 87. The
Oh.
anti-Semitic
It's
storyline
cringy, but it's funny.
involving Juice Robinson and MJF was tasteless, considering 1,400 Jews were murdered by Hamas prior to that segment. 88. The bad acting in segments is just cringe at times. The whole segment with Nick Wayne's mom was not good. 89. Two black men breaking into a white man's house in Virginia
Unrealistic angles. Home.
and cutting
Have you watched the, like, you have, okay, let's just talk about this. Let's talk about this now, shut up. Let's go to, what is a unrealistic feud? Kane kicking a Snitster. Pun kicking a child, or what was it, Kane? It was Kane. Or Snitsky, one of the two. Kicking a baby into the crowd was a entire feud based around this with Lita in 2005, friend.
Cutting a promo on a baby that's unattended is so unrealistic that it's quite honestly ridiculous. 90. The Acclaimed are cool, but celebrating the 69th day of a title run is just
We just had Sexy Red on NXT of all things. Yeah.
plain
Yeah.
silly. It feels kind of like a
Alright.
bad middle school joke at this point. Why would this incentivize viewers to tune in? 91. Even though their promo went off script and they began shooting, Edge calling Ricky Starks a vanilla midget version of The Rock is just too far. Comments like that can bury a young talent. 92. Powerhouse Hobbs' TNT title reign was largely forgettable
Hair snaps just go surgery.
due to bad booking, but AEW should have went all in on him because he could be a huge star for the future. 93. Excalibur speeding through announcements on commentary to the point that he's out of breath was amusing at first, but it just gets a bit ridiculous after a while. Give the man more time. 94.
That's just how Excalibur talks.
AEW has been in negotiation.
Yes, Warner Brothers is still, and it takes forever.
with Warner Brothers for a couple of months.
Warner Brothers didn't even offer AEW a contract. Yeah, they don't. Oh, they didn't go through with it. One of the two, I can't
now
remember.
for a new TV deal, but negotiations have been stalling due to
Nah, they
AEW's
can't
recent slump.
remember.
95. AEW is not concerned with growing their audience. They're more concerned with pleasing their hardcore fan base. 96. AEW have lost the revolutionary feel that they had in the early days of AEW, and it just feels like another wrestling show. 97. AEW are having an identity crisis. They used to be like NXT on steroids, but now they're
Huh?
a mix of late-stage WCW and 2010's TNA. 98. AEW is not the alternative anymore. They are conforming to the WWE way of doing things, and this is hurting them. 99.
Nah,
AEW is just not the same product that we all
Just to get better with, you know what I mean. After Triple H took over, it got better in my time. And that's one reason why I'm to be honest. If you guys enjoyed me ranting about this dude's takes absolutely suck, please like, subscribe, comment, watch live on